Welcome to this episode of the Founders Fireside Podcast. Today, we have a special guest, Parker Busick. He's the founder and CEO of Soloist, a loop pedal as an app. Parker, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jasper. Happy to be here.
Of course. So this is a long-awaited episode. We recorded a whole podcast a couple of months ago, and my storage was full and it just deleted.
Damn.
So we're back.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything I said, so be all fresh.
Yep. And then we're gonna have a new question at the end from Brian Rosen. All right. So first, for the people that don't know what Soloist is, tell them a little bit about it.
Sure. Should I do I just look at you or look at the camera? What's best?
Look at me.
Okay. The thing that easiest way to describe it is a multiplayer loop pedal, which the uniqueness from other products is the multiplayer part. Loop pedal is an existing device, I know you know, which allows you to record something. You click a button on a physical device, and it'll play back what you just played. It allows musicians to sort of practice with themselves. You may lay down the background music and then record it, play it back while you play the melody or something like that. What we've done is taken that device, which is historically expensive, difficult to use, and single player, and made it into a multiplayer device for free on your phone. It makes it easier to use. The easier to use part is coming on the next update. And so it works. It does everything your loop pedal can do except better. You can record, say, drums into it, upload it, and then any other user in the app can use your drums to build off of and make a song with, make a riff with, or just jam out, loop pedal style. Or vice versa, you can do the same with any other music on the app. So if you see like a saxophone piece you really like and it's a loop, you just drag that in, and then you can start looping with that on your own loop pedal.
Okay. It's a cool value proposition, taking an expensive device and just turning it into a free app.
Free app and making it better along the way, hopefully.
Yeah. And there's almost like a social aspect to it.
Completely.
Because you can collab with other
you
artists.
You can follow people, you can grow your streams, you can drive traffic to your Spotify or whatever is the goal.
Okay. Sweet. So tell me about building the app, because you are not a technical founder who can code everything and create an app for the App Store. So tell me about the process of finding someone to build the app.
So, low code, no code tools, even before the Lovable, were starting to get big when I started this. But I quickly found out that this was a more complicated technical solution than what would be available on a low code or no code tool, and would even still be inaccessible with a tool like Lovable. It's just too complex to get the audios kind of working right. So I kind of had like a huge dilemma of like needing to find a co-founder or needing to raise a shitload of money to pay a developer. The paying the developer did not go well. We hired like a software firm. It just didn't work. It was way too expensive for barely any progress. But in the meantime, I was able to find a dev who was kind of just learning, basically offered him an internship with the company that we were hiring. So I pulled this weird situation where I went to the company that we were hiring and said, hey, if we got a free intern for you, would you take him to work on our project exclusively? They said, sure, we'll take a free intern. I went to him and said, hey, I got you an internship with one of the top dev agencies like in the state, but it would just be unpaid because you don't have any experience. And he's like, that's amazing. All I'm looking for is experience. So I just made that interaction happen. So he became an intern on our project for free, but through the scope of this agency we hired. And then 3 months into that, I offered him to be a co-founder, and he kind of jumped onto our team officially. Just pay him a very small amount, way less than we paid the agency, for better results, quicker results, and the dedicated, the dedication of somebody who's actually part of the team who owns part of the company.
Right.
And I skipped over the design part. That was the dev part. The design part, I actually got lucky, and a peer of mine had a girlfriend who was wanting to get portfolio work. So similar situation. She worked on a very first version of the app design for free for her portfolio and for resume experience. And at the end of that project, I ended up lobbing the idea of working together more, and then just slowly we became co-founders that way. So with both, it was the same. It was sort of working together, volunteer basis for experience that turned into it going well, which turned into me offering them equity in the company to join kind of full time.
Okay. So
very difficult.
That is
it's kind of the hardest thing I would say to do. One of the hardest things to do, especially if you're not in a place like San Fran or Austin, is to be non-technical and find a tech team that will co-found with you. It's very hard. And a lot of times I would recommend people learn how to code themselves if they're that interested in it. I got kind of lucky, but it took a long time, and a lot of people have to create your own luck in that way.
Right. That's super interesting, getting the internship for the guy who would then be working on your project.
Yeah.
And then become a co-founder.
Yeah. It reminded me of like the whole joke of like the guy who went to like BlackRock. It was like, will you fund me? Will you fund my startup company? My advisor is my father-in-law, Bill Gates. And they said, oh, we'll write you a big check. And then he went to Bill Gates and he said, can I date your daughter? I just got funded by BlackRock and I'm a VC-backed founder. He uses a relationship with Bill Gates to get funded by a VC, and he uses the fact that he's a young funded tech entrepreneur by VC as a way to get to date Bill Gates' daughter.
Right.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I kind of did the same thing with them. I said, hey, I have a free employee for you.
Yeah.
And they said, sure. And I said, hey, I have a free job for you. And he said, sure. And I just connected the dots.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's some game right there.
It's definitely a risky move if it doesn't pay off, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Your reputation is gonna be
depending on it.
Right.
On both sides
on both sides working.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. Okay. So you've got a team to build the app. You've built the app. When did you launch?
We launched. We launched the first testing version in October of 24, and have updated it since in small ways. But the really big update is coming mid-July. In fact, I just got the test flight of it right now.
Sweet.
To show a potential advisor investor tomorrow, on Wednesday. But that will feel basically like V1 or V2, or like you could say this was previously the beta, and what is coming out will be kind of like the product. Obviously, we'll keep adding to it, but it no longer really deserves the title of beta with the capabilities that it'll have, because it will do everything that we originally set out for it to do. What we have out right now is an incomplete version of what we originally set out to build, whereas what we'll be releasing soon is, basically exactly what we had dreamed up at the beginning of the whole journey. So, yeah.
Sweet. It's exciting. You mentioned meeting with a advisor / investor.
Mm-hmm.
Is he heavily involved in the music space?
Yeah. So this guy is probably one of the wealthiest people in music in the world. He started Sweetwater.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So he started Sweetwater, which is now the #1 online marketplace of all music, instruments, gear, tech, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
They do, like a few billion revenue on that each year, which kind of puts them in the same ballpark as like Yamaha or Fender.
Yeah.
In those huge
Sweetwater's
ways.
huge.
So he was the original founder and the only owner of the company. And I heard he was playing a concert in like a small town that I grew up in. So I just drove up there and shot my shot with him and got to schedule a meeting where I'm going to go to his mansion in 2 days in my hometown.
Damn. How
Very,
about that?
very lucky.
Yeah. That's kind of like creating your own luck.
That is, like, it's definitely an entrepreneurial hustle, you know? Just like, you sitting there like, do I take this chance? Do I go do this thing? It's gonna take me a lot of time to go drive here, and I'm gonna have to pay for gas money and this and that. It might not even turn into anything. But, like, if you can guarantee just 5 seconds in front of the most important person for your business, then you have to take the chance, I think. I was almost debating not doing it because I was sick that day. It didn't seem like I was going to guarantee it. It wasn't a guarantee I was going to get to even talk to him or anything. It was just like an off chance sort of deal. But Hope, my wife, said, what would you tell a student to do if they asked you? I was like, duh. And tell them instantly go for it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't work, you at least went for it. So that made it really easy to decide to go. And it worked out super well.
Sweet.
Yeah, I forget. There's something. Oh yeah, they give you candy anytime you order something. Because they said
really?
like bring a little sweetness to your day or something.
Whoa.
Because it's sweet water.
Yeah.
So it kind of works.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's smart.
It was the company was started as a mobile recording studio. In his Volkswagen van in like the 80s. Like he would just drive to people and record their whole studio is inside the van. And it turned into a billion-dollar multinational.
So they evolved a lot to start selling products.
Yeah, so it went like studio to they would make and sell music loops, you know, just like loop pedals. So they would like record piano loops and whatnot and sell it to people like Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin and Rolling Stones or whatever, like big artists would buy a huge pack of sounds that they recorded in their studio. So it went from like recording studio to like vertically up the chain to actually making your own music, or I guess vertically down the chain, to then selling gear and instruments. And then in like the 90s when the .com thing was big, he was just the first guy to be like, we gotta sell this online on the website. Yeah.
Wow.
And the website ended up being their biggest piece of business.
Is it peer-to-peer? Or
it's it's straight from manufacturer to consumer. Whoa, so they're the wholesaler, I guess they're the retailer of the goods from the original manufacturers.
Like Fender and Squier?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Probably any gear making company that has over, 100K in sales a year probably has their products available at Sweetwater. The only one who wouldn't would be like a very small niche boutique company. But even then, some of them will sell through Sweetwater.
Okay. Let's get back to Soloist. What does the marketing play and marketing plan look like for Soloist?
So I've been really thinking a lot about how, social media is obviously kind of just the best for that, but still a lot of tests to run because influencer space is really big. Organic is obviously cool. I think our best plan right now, being budget limited, is to post a lot of organic posts, try and develop, try and get to, say, 1,000 users going as organic as possible, and then putting money behind the posts that do the best, turning them into ads. That's currently the main play. But there's some of the other basic stuff too, like just paid ads for search ads, because like a lot of people will search loop pedal app. That's a common search query that we would be perfect for. We just need to get displayed when people search that.
Right.
In fact, that's like one of the most commonly searched things on TikTok that will take you to our videos if we post them. It's like loop pedal app or free loop pedal. Yeah, there's other things we've thought about, like affiliate, like for instance, partnering with music schools or like guitar instructors.
Yeah.
But like the more that I've thought about all of these more B2B marketing sort of, or B2B2C marketing channels, the more I've realized it just pales in comparison to the amount of musicians who are using social media. So I always just come back to social media.
Right.
And we need to, we're actively upgrading our content and scaling up the amount of involvement we're doing on social media. Because it just seems to be like the easiest path to success is a viral video.
Yeah. Just one.
I mean, one definitely would be a great way to get started. Like if we just had somebody on our team, on our founding team, who was just a wizard at social media, then I think that would do more for the company than like anything else. Consistently getting, views in the thousands and 10,000s and beyond.
Right.
Because like we've had a video do 400 views and yet we got 2 new users, 3, 4 new users from it. So if we just, if that same video had 400,000 views, it's kind of game over.
Yeah.
And the number one investor in the space right now specifically said that like the ultimate turn on for them for an investment in music tech, which is they only invest in music tech, would be if somebody came in and had 10,000 users on a creator tool app that grew that way organically. He said that would be like the shining star of what we want to invest in. Oh, and bottom up too. So not servicing like the top creators, but servicing the bulk of creators.
Right.
So if there's something that's bottom up, creator tool app that grows organically, there is not a better deal to pass in front of their table for an investment than that.
Right.
So we're trying to do that because that's like so aligned with what we are. We're bottom up creator tool app. We just need to get the following and the user count, and even better if that's organic.
Okay. Sweet. So what shows up now if people go on Google and look up loop pedal app?
It's a good question. I know if they search Soloist app, we're number one. Okay, so what comes up right now is sources from the web of these competitors of ours that are all like really garbage. The best one is Jam Looper, which also shows up number one on the App Store suggestion with 4,000 reviews.
Oh wow.
We are just like a much better version of this. We're almost inspired by it into the sense that like it will feel like a similar app, just better.
Yeah.
And that's not even like my own ego, like I've used that a ton. Ours is just better.
Okay.
And it has a bunch of the features that this doesn't even have. Because this is clearly like an app made by like a hobbyist dev who really likes music or something like that. Like Team of One made up this app. But like it doesn't have some of the, it's single player. Doesn't have any of the social media aspect of it. Which is a huge deal. And it also doesn't have as simple of a timeline editing sort of download, we call it.
Right. Okay.
So like that's kind of was validation for us of like, wow, this app has a bunch of downloads, there's 4,000 reviews. It's not even that good.
What do they do for marketing?
I don't think you can even find this, like, I'm not even sure they have a website. Like the username of the guy who published it is just a guy. Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't. If you search up their company name, it just pulls up their their App Store listing. So I'm assuming they do social media. I mean, it's like a simple Wix website. It's two dudes.
Mm.
I mean, the one thing that they have right now that we don't have is it does look like you can purchase effects, like reverb and delay. But those are so easy for us to add.
Yeah.
Once their website is literally just a redirect to the App Store.
Mm.
So I'm assuming they're probably running social media ads that just retarget you straight to the App Store.
Yeah. Okay.
And they also have, good App Store SEO, as I've mentioned.
Yeah.
And they're still posting new versions to this day.
Mm.
It's cool. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, we like it.
Soloist is going for Jam Looper's spot.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And then surpass.
Yeah, for sure. Once the new update comes out, we'll definitely be past this.
Okay.
In fact, this will even have functionality glitches occasionally.
Mm. Is reverb going to be available on the update?
Like effects, you mean?
Yeah.
Not on this big update. But like I said, it's like it's incredibly. I'm pretty sure there's open source code for a lot of that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. My dev told me it's super easy to add that, but that's not our focus right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Other things like speeding up the music, slowing it down, changing the volume, like those are very simple things to add.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. You're almost building a DAW on top of a loop pedal.
Yeah, we call it a mini DAW.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. I've used a bunch of DAWs, and to really do what I want to do, like, you don't need that many tools. It's just like reverb, volume.
Yeah, they're usually for like they're usually a lot more complex in what they can do than is. I mean, the similarity would be like the way Canva took Adobe. The way Canva took Adobe Photoshop. You can do anything on Adobe Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, But Canva makes design just simpler and easier by just offering the main things you need really simply and free. And we're doing that to DAWs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Super interesting. I was about to draw literally the same parallel.
Yeah. Canva. We're like Canva for music creation. Yeah. Or even like Canva for looping, like loop pedal timing and things like that. We're the Canva version of that even, because it's just easier to do. And the way Canva will snap your alignments and be all snappy like that to make it just like tell you what's good and easy. Ours does that too.
Sweet.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I want to talk about raising money.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you get initial funding from Spine Sweat?
Yeah, so I was in a class that gave us $10,000. It wasn't all from the class, but while I was in the class, I won awards or competitions and a grant that amounted to $10,000. I then got $30,000 worth of grants and $100,000 from a VC through a pitch competition, a series of pitch competitions that I won. So that's $140K total.
Sweet. And what have you used that money for? And
building.
Yeah.
Like I said, we tried using a software dev firm for like 6 months. Cost way too much money. Just way too much for very little progress. There's also some basic things like legal, there goes some of it. Basic like admin, aka like our GitHub premium, our emails, our $300 a year for the website, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We did some conferences, so like we flew out to Santa Monica for a conference there. We were invited to attend a conference in Las Vegas, like huge global conference, but both of those, like, we had to cover the Airbnb and the flights of my teammates. And then paying my two co-founders, when they were both graduated from college, just paid them a very small reasonable amount, like between $1,500 and $2,000 a month, to be able to like not take any other jobs and work full time on Soloist. So between all of that, that's basically all the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? Is Riley one of your co-founders?
Yes.
And then what's the name of the dev?
John Alex. He's also he's in a band, 6 Foot Blonde.
Oh, sweet.
Which has been signed to Wasserman Agency, and they've started to do like semi-national tours and whatnot. So I'm lucky to have a dev who is also partially financially covered by his music.
Yeah. Wow, that's super interesting. I didn't know that 6 Foot Blonde was touring now.
Yeah, they've done New York multiple times, and they basically go to the East Coast and Midwest. So Cincinnati, Chicago, Indianapolis, Louisville, New York, maybe Boston, Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
St. Louis a lot.
Yeah. The dev shop that you used for 6 months, how much of the budget did that take?
Cost? Yeah. They were, at the worst, or at the most that we were using them, it was like $10,000 a month.
Jeez.
That probably happened 2 months. And then we were like, whoa, dial it back. So we dialed it back. We had our guy join on, but our guy John was still new enough that he needed help on the most expensive things. So we started saving a lot of money by having them not do anything until John couldn't do it. That brought us down to like $5,000 a month. And then we slowly just turned that to zero as John's skills grew.
Yeah. And then he got an internship there.
Well, the internships were started then.
Oh, okay.
Like whenever we were doing $10,000 a month, John had just started as an intern there. Once he got able to do some of these things on his own and was a co-founder, we decreased their hours on the dev shop, increased John's, and just kept doing that until John was at 2,000 and they were at zero.
Okay.
Which 30,000 of the dollars had from the grant, our 30K in grants had to be used with an Indiana dev shop.
Oh, wait, what's the name of that program?
INTAP.
INTAP, that's
So there was no other way around it than to spend 30 grand with them.
Yeah.
We probably put in another 30, 40 grand of our own money building, because it was this thing of like, okay, we did the 30K of the grants. It seems like we're getting there. I don't want to just abandon this halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we would just get the first version of the app out, but month over month we're like, okay, there's new things that need to be fixed, and it's never gonna get out this way without spending a lot of money. Ironically, if you talk to people at dev shops or like VC who have venture studio models, they'll say the same thing. They'll say it takes about $150K to build a fully robust platform, which is true if you're hiring a bunch of professionals. But if you go co-founder route or like India route or something like that, then it should never cost you that much money.
Right.
In fact, the best companies will just make it themselves for free, $0.
Yeah.
Because their whole co-founding team is A, not paying themselves, and B, can build apps. So, like, if you can make your own app without spending $150K, $200K, you're kind of at an advantage over like anybody else, because once you want devs that are, say, 40 years old and have that skill level, their rate is either $200K a year, or you better be your co-founder.
Yeah.
Or you better find a college student who's cracked and can do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Or you better find some cheap international labor, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of your only options.
Have you seen those co-founders from Yale that just started social media? It's the most wild.
Well, remind me, what is it?
It's called Series.
Yeah,
You have seen it?
I think so.
The most wild thing, like, there's not another social media that is remotely similar to it.
I need to
So,
look this up.
yeah. So here's what it will do. You make a profile. It's, first of all, it's not an app. It goes through iMessage. So basically, you'll sign up, make a profile, say like who your network is kind of like, and then it will automatically make a warm intro to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's a
other
few.
founders or whoever you should network with.
Yeah, this is just like Boardy, similar concept. Was you were supposed to call it, and it's an AI chat, and you say, I'm looking for somebody in this space and this, and it would make like a text or call introduction to that person for you.
Well,
Yeah, very similar to the series.
it's pretty cool.
But series is probably a little bit. It's a little bit better of an idea.
Yeah.
The Boardy thing, doing it on a phone call is a little bit much.
Mm-hmm.
And the promise that you can ask for somebody specific and it'll just find somebody like that for you is unrealistic.
Right.
Yeah.
They need to sign up for the program
Yeah.
themselves.
If I'm getting so specific with my searches to say, I'm looking for a pre-seed investor in music tech who invests early traction. Like, I'm shit out of luck if somebody like that hasn't joined the platform yet.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's more vague of like, hey, here's my company, here's my thing, it's more likely that Series will be able to find somebody in the network who's worth a connection to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there anything that I haven't asked about Soloist yet that you want to talk about?
I don't know. It's up to you. I think you
Okay.
we talked a lot about it.
Yeah. Okay. So we got this tradition on the podcast where
Okay.
the last guest asks the next guest a question.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian Rosen has got a question for you. And his question is similar to Jordan Green's, but he modified it a bit. Where do you see your company in 5 to 10 years? And will you still be working at it?
10 years from now, definitely not. Because I'll either have sold the company or quit the company. It's just too long. I need quicker. It's already been a couple years, 5 years from now would be like, ideally I'm really spending full time just trying to sell the company. Like 1 million users and possibility of exit. If we haven't reached that in 5 years, it means that we have significant reason to think that that will happen. Like say we're at 200,000 users with revenues and we're just pushing for that number to become more acquirable.
That's a lot of users.
It is a lot of users. But, I think that by year 7 is when you better kind of be hitting those user numbers. And that would only be 1 in 5 musicians in the US. or like 1 in 20 in the world on the platform.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot. But if you look at, like, for instance, BandLab is like probably our most comparable competitor, and they have 100 million accounts made.
Wow.
On platform. In probably that 7-year window that I just described.
Mm.
So if they can do it, try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And
the app will be it would be at that point in time, I would envision it being like streaming 2.0, like a fully fledged streaming app where the music is also made within the streaming app. And that Canva DAW concept has been taken to the max, where it truly is music by Legos. So like it would be that you, Jasper, and like that's how you get 1 million users, by the way, is that like we hope to get to a point that you don't even have to be musically inclined to be able to make music with it. Like it could be some dude on the street likes this song, and for the very simple tool set, they can make a new song that combines all 3 of these songs.
Yeah.
The drums from here, piano from here, vocals from this, and then with AI mixed in the middle, whatever, create a whole new one-of-a-kind song for this guy in particular that he can now post and stream, or he can be listening to in a car.
I like that
like
idea.
a 5-year vision.
Yeah.
A 5-year vision is that you're driving in your car and your friend asks you what you're playing on the aux, but the song that is playing on the aux is a 1 in a million combination of sounds from our app that is specifically for you, Jasper. Like, I'm the one who made this song. This is my song.
Yeah.
It was pulled from these 10 other songs that I liked in my playlist, but this one-of-a-kind combination can only be found on my playlist.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ultimate vision. And that's what streaming 2.0 is. Turning music into Lego.
That is thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Wow. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, the bitch of the thing has been trying to MVP something that can get us there.
Right.
You need a lot to get to that vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even like delusional. Like I'm convinced, I'm 100% certain that this is going to be the future of music. In fact, recently that's where the streaming 2.0 in music term has come about in the inner circles. And it's been like sort of universally agreed that this is where the music is going. It's just a matter of if we're there or not.
Right.
If it's not us, I guarantee you that this will be the norm for other competitors of ours to bring to market, which is the idea of the listener and the creator of the music completely blurring till the lines are indistinguishable.
Yeah, I mean, there are already AI artists
Totally.
that have been getting signed to record labels.
Yeah.
And that's where I see streaming, like on Netflix, going. I think actors will be, AI characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
you don't
but
have to pay actors
imagine,
anymore.
imagine like to bring it to what Soloist is trying to do for music, to the movie, to flesh out that analogy of Netflix. It would be like, imagine you say, I like the plot of Jurassic Park, but I want it to be Pirates in the Caribbean flavor. And I want sci-fi elements from Star Trek, and it's going to be a modern steampunk pirate sci-fi movie. And then boom, you will now take in all these elements from several movies and have a one-of-a-kind movie that gets generated for you.
Mm-hmm.
That you could then post for others to watch, and when they watch it, you get paid for it.
Right.
Like, that would be the Netflix analogy.
That would be wild. I was thinking more short term before it creates things automatically.
Yeah.
Like,
AI actors.
Literally at the beginning of the summer, I was thinking about starting a company that would make AI movies using like Google Veo.
Yeah.
It's not quite there yet, but at the pace
It will be.
it's going to be there soon.
It will be. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what?
Oh yeah, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes.
I feel like I had a good one last time we recorded this. I don't know what I asked though. Oh, okay. I think this is the same question.
Alright.
You exit your company. Your payout is greater than $1 million cash. You can pick the number, I don't know, whatever you need to do. What are you doing then? Basically, it's that question that everyone gets asked as a fancy question, but for you, if you exit your company, it would be a real question, which is, if you no longer need anything, what will you do with your time?
Yeah.
You know? Will you start another company? Will you go live on an island? Will you golf every day? Will you become the best video editor and documentary creator of all time? Will you open up a garden? You know, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I think that answer reveals the character of the human.
Mm.
You know?
I got my answer.
Well, okay.
Build something else.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. For me, never in a million years.
No?
No, I will spend the rest of my life like
Hiking?
Yeah, in a cabin. I'll have a homestead. Family will live off of it. We'll have like fucking huge garden who supplies a vast amount of vegetables. Some animals like chickens that provide our meat and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll probably just be like reading books, writing, hiking, exploring, playing instrument. I would just make my whole life my hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pick a hobby. I got like 12 of them. I would just make every single day one of those 12 hobbies.
Sweet.
Until I've like lived to the max. And I would probably have a goal that one of those hobbies I'd get so developed into it that it becomes a new source of income. You know? Like I always thought the person who has the greatest chance of like becoming a famous professional like beat maker is the guy who doesn't need to. Because like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like imagine the guy who has everything and so can just dive in for the love of beat making and can spend every day doing that. And doesn't have to go be a waiter to make money or this and that. Like, all he does is just make beats or fill in the blank. Write books, write poetry, sing songs, whatever it is. If you have the financial freedom to just dedicate all your time to it for no other reason than you liking it and wanting to become the best at it, that will pay off to you actually being able to monetize that. You know what I mean?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Living like so free.
Yeah.
That you're not doing it. There's no pressure behind it.
There's no pressure.
Yeah.
And there's no constraints. There's no like there's no pressure of I have to do this, and there's no constraints of I also need to make money at the end of the day, so I need to go like Uber drive or something.
I think that's a good lesson for like how you should think about building a business in college.
Yeah.
Like there's no pressure behind it.
Yeah, true.
Just go for it.
Just do it to do it. And if you
Yeah.
go full in and your whole goal is just to do it, then you'll probably end up doing it better than other people. Because your motives are aligned. Like if your motives are to make money, it doesn't seem to work out as well than if your motives are to do this thing that you want to do.
Right.
It's the same thing of like with making a song is like if you make a song for other people, it won't do nearly as well as if you make the song for yourself and then other people tune in. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, Parker. Thanks a lot for coming on this episode of the Founders Fireside Podcast. Really appreciate it.
Sure, man. Thanks, Jasper.